So we did an assessment, and we're gonna have a separate series for the time that we spent together, like going over your history of back pain. So we're gonna drop a link to that video when that comes out, and so that way people can see the actual assessment. It isn't just a matter of, I've known you for almost 20 years now, and I consider you a brother, not just a brother, like bro, like hey bro, like Arnold and freaking what is it from no, it's Rocky and Apollo. That's the thing that you see, the meme you see, but like a brother in Christ too.
Yeah.
So you wanted to come down. We haven't hung out. I haven't seen you since the Arnold 2017. And we sat down the other night and started talking. There's so many different things that we got into, from the spiritual realm, from the lifting realm, from our business realm, from all these different things that we've been doing. And what's been going on with you, man? You're doing big things in Sioux City, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the gym has just done really well. It's really grown. It's been a blessing, to my family's life. Hopefully to a lot of other people's lives as well.
Yeah.
I really try to view my gym as my mission field. Like we had talked about. I mean, the gym is literally where God has me right now.
Yeah.
Really fortunate to be in this position. When you're starting something,
It's scary.
it is. I mean, you don't have a paycheck, so you're starting something. You're relying on God and faith,
Yeah.
to pay those bills to take care of your family. But
Yeah.
the reward has really been worth it, and it's just something I love to do. Obviously, we competed. This has just been a part of our lives forever. Obviously, you're still in the same somewhat field,
Yeah.
as well as me. So it's just been a blessing to do what I love to do for a living and be able to help people. And now the gym is kind of it looks like it's a gateway to health, fitness, and it is.
And spiritual.
But it really is. It's like, for me, it's like my church, and it's the people that God has me minister to, is whoever walks through there. And I am not perfect. That doesn't mean, I think a lot of times people think that, oh, it's like, yeah, this is this perfect person that it has to
I haven't
do
met one
everything
yet.
correct.
I haven't met one.
And I never have either. And I just like to put that out there to people, because I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I'm saying.
Right.
I have to decide to walk this life every day for Christ, not myself.
Right.
And it's sometimes it's hard, and you do make decisions that are wrong. But like, my heart's desire is always to please God, and I'm going to let him down at times, but I will never stop getting back up. And I want to do what pleases him and what he has me doing. And so, like, when he did place the gym, it was really cool that he allowed that to happen. And, I was at a different building when we started.
Yeah.
Literally, he placed us on the other side of a bar. I was in a building of a bar,
Yeah.
and it was the warehouse part of it.
Yeah.
But I thought, where else would God?
Warehouses can be great. I'm in a tire warehouse.
Well, and it
like
was,
warehouses are a great start, but then, like, even for you, bar.
it was the perfect place for being around lost people. If you're trying to win lost people, like, you have to go out and be amongst them,
Right.
but don't be them.
Right.
And we had a lot of people that really got fed, I think,
Mhm.
and God continued to grow it because of that. But I was just very appreciative to the, whatever it was, 1,500 square foot place that I had at that first beginning. And I really was grateful for that spot. And I wanted to make sure to never, even though now we have a building that's about 12,000 square foot, I view it the same
10
exact
times. God bless you tenfold.
Yeah, yes.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
But
Like not exactly, but like 10 times the blessing you have now than what you started with.
But I wanted to make sure to view it, be just as grateful now as I was then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the beginning, and over in the time, you can grow, and you could possibly just take things for granted, or get a big head, or think it's something that you did or you built because it's going so well. And I have never thought, I honestly don't even view the gym like it's my personal gym. It's God's gym and my mission field. And that's just how I view it. I don't know. It's the people's gym,
Mm-hmm.
because without people, it's not really anything.
Mm-hmm.
But God keeps bringing people, and I don't know how he does. I don't even really advertise, but every month he's just continuously growing my business and his business, I guess.
So how do people find you to like pop into Shawn Frankl's Big Iron Gym? Like, do you have a website?
Yeah, we have a website.
Yeah.
Yep, website, and then we do a little bit
What's
of
the website?
if you just go to Shawn Frankl's bigiron.com.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, it's on there. But you know, I think when people come in from out of town, they Google gyms like anybody,
Yeah.
and that pulls up. They can see pictures and whatnot. So that brings some people from out of town, or that just move into town.
Dude, it's an amazing gym.
But it's been great, man, and just doing some add-on things to it and whatnot. But
Yeah, so you just showed me like the most extravagant freaking creative smoothie bar that you put in, where it's like you put in the big screen TVs behind. You have a menu the size of a full restaurant and different types of smoothies that you do, and it's grown, and God has blessed it even to where you DoorDash smoothies that are generally in a gym and an afterthought for people, right? It's just like, we have our thing, but we sell like 3 a day or whatever. But you're literally door dashing people your smoothies because you don't do anything halfway. Nothing you've done in your life since I've known you, I've almost known you for 20 years, right?
yeah,
Nothing I've seen have you done halfway. You don't halfway train for a meet. You don't halfway build a gym. Looking for the answer to your sleepless nights, sore muscles, and better overall well-being? If so, PowerX Strength CBD has you covered. All of our products are made of CBD isolate and have 0% THC, meaning there are no worries of failing a drug test or the worry of feeling high. With PowerX Strength CBD, we offer a wide range of products and payment options to ensure you have the option that best fits your needs. Don't just take it from me. All of our reviews and client testimonials on our site speak for themselves. You can even get 20% off your order by using code YT1306 at checkout. Go to powerxstrengthcbd.com to order now so you can get back to sleeping, recovering, lifting, feeling, and being better. So I remember I was still living in my condo, and you were like calling me. This is around probably 2012 or something like that. Maybe it was, I don't know, was it 2012? When did you actually open?
2014.
Okay, so around 2012, because I got out of my condo shortly after we had our call. But I remember laying on my couch, and you're like, "Hey, dude, like, what's your arrangement with like what you do, and like, what's your model, and like, how do you do it?" I said, "Well, here's what I do. I rent from someone," and you're like, "I'm gonna like start a gym," and I'm like, "You should, and you will start a gym. Like, that's like, dude, just freaking do it." I didn't like have any sage advice for you or like, here's the business model, here's the thing. I'm just like, yeah, do it. Like, it's like a given, you need to do it. And the way God has blessed it, and you have, I don't even like, dude, how many members do you have at the gym?
We have like over 600.
600 members at the gym, and you cater to everyone because you got pro bodybuilders that you train, right? And then you got power lifters that come in there and train. And obviously, if anyone's ever paid attention to powerlifting over the last 20 years, you know about Big Iron Gym, you know about Rick Hussey going back to the early 2000s. And that's when I first crossed paths with Rick Hussey and Brian Mull and Justin Grouse. And then I think shortly thereafter, Jim Grandick. And Rick has been someone that has left an imprint on you that will never go away. So for the people out there that unfortunately never got to meet Rick Hussey or don't know who Rick Hussey is, who's Rick Hussey and who is he to you?
Well, Rick Hussey to me was, I mean, he was more than a coach, but I originally met him because of powerlifting, and I live in Sioux City, so it's a little over an hour away from where he was in Omaha, where he started the original Big Iron Gym. So that was Rick's. He started that. But I'd go down and compete in Omaha, and that's how I met him in the powerlifting meets there in Omaha. But when I met him, I what I liked about Rick is he was who you saw. He wasn't a certain way and around different people.
Yeah.
He was just very real.
He had no mask.
Yeah, he had no mask, but he was very real. Now, he come across a little different back then because he was a little harder. You didn't really know if he liked you. He felt you out at first. He'd kind of feel you out.
He had to because of his past.
Yeah.
Like he's been, all of us have been burned a bit, right?
Yeah.
So you, I think it's kind of wise to like keep some people at a distance, and they have to like earn your trust,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Now, you don't need to be like a wounded animal where you're just like running and like, oh, offenses everywhere. But at the same time, we're to be judicious about who we let in our inner circle and in our lives. So
Yeah.
I think that's wisdom instead of just saying, everyone, come on, come into my house and see.
Yeah.
You don't, it's not smart to do that. So like you, I keep people at a distance, and then when I see that I can trust them, then I'll like, dude, I like to be generous. I like to help people. And Rick, you guys had a mutual relationship where he liked helping you, and like you tell me about the relationship with Rick.
Well, I mean, I kind of had to prove myself first a little, you know. So when I did my first meet competing against the guys at Big Iron, I had done well, and then because of that, I think he was like, "Hey, you know, I see potential in this guy. Why don't you come on down here sometime and lift with us?" You know, and so I just took him up on that. But to get back to a little bit when I first met him, I could tell that this guy wasn't like had a lot of peace in his life because I could tell he's been through a lot. You know,
Yeah.
you've been around people, you can just tell
Yeah.
if they've been through a lot or
Yeah.
not. And my first real feeling of around Rick was I would really like this guy to have happiness
Yes.
because I can see all the people on his team that he has helped, but I was thinking, who's helping him?
Yeah.
And I wanted him to have peace and joy in his life. So I really wanted him to find God.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, what it all came down to. I wanted him to have peace and joy and have Christ in his life.
Right.
And feel fulfilling joy, you know, like a different kind that he's never had.
Right.
That's what I was thinking in my brain. But also I'm thinking, man, I could learn a lot from this guy because look at what he's doing with these guys.
Right.
And that's something that I was into. And that was a different kind of different street, you know,
Right.
is that the strength aspect.
Right.
And so like I knew I could learn a lot from him and I respected him. So I'd do whatever he wanted me to do. So that's why I went there in search of him to me, something I could give to him, not just take. I wanted to give something to him if when the time was right, and I had to earn his respect first. And then the second part was the strength part. So
you're deployed and you served the country in Afghanistan. And when did you leave to Afghanistan?
I believe it was like 2004.
Okay.
Yep. I left in Afghanistan 2004, got back in 05.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I know a little bit of the story about how Rick got you briefs to be able to squat over there in the tent. And like you were still able to like get your like some of your powerlifting in. How did he get you briefs over to Afghanistan? And how are you doing like the 800-pound squat you did in the tent and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, they sent me some power pants. You know, you still had to wear your basically your PT uniform.
Mhm.
You know, even in a tent in the middle of Afghanistan, you still had to wear that stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, they mailed me some, but it took like, you know, it takes like a couple months to
Right.
get this stuff. It's
Right.
not like you're getting it right away.
Well, it's kind of
if you
far
get
away.
it, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So they sent me some, and you know, I would use them for those big workouts. Now,
Yeah.
at first, I mean, basically, I hadn't lifted in a while, so I had to kind of get all the way back, work my strength back up.
Right.
But you know, once I was started to do that, I mean, by the time months went by, I got those briefs. I was on my big days, which Rick would tell me every once in a while I'd get a phone call, and I would call him,
Mhm.
and he'd kind of tell me
Some
like
water there if you need some.
he would kind of tell me what to do.
Mhm.
And so I started applying those things, you know, and doing them just like I normally would
Mhm.
if I was back home. And then there was actually this room that I could change and go put them on. And this guy that ran that tent, where the gym was, his name was Speedy. And he always like watching me, you know, he's like, when are you going heavy? What day? And I want to be there. I want to make sure I'm there. Well, he would run that tent and there was a little room I could change in. So anytime I would have to change into my briefs, if I was going heavy, you know, I'd go in that room and he would always be back there talking to me, you know, and he was a Christian guy.
Just checking out your stuff.
Whatever, Brian, your stuff. Yeah. But, he
was just always happy to be back there.
but he was a good Christian guy, you know,
Yeah.
and he would always say things to me, kind of bragging me up, you know, because
Building you up.
I don't know, he kind of felt like he was bragging me. Like,
Yeah.
man, you can this and this, and like you're so, you know what I mean? Like, because there wasn't anybody lifting that heavy back, else that was lifting like that. But like well, obviously I'm powerlifting. So like I should be doing that, and he would come back there as I was getting ready. What are you doing today, man? You can do this and that. And he's kind of bragging me up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just, felt a little weird.
Right.
So I'd always say, I always want to give glory to God with whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'd always just tell him, like, you know what, it's because of him that I can do this. And he's given me people in my life and the knowledge. And I'd always kind of like, which you should give glory to God and all that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he would always go, well, Shawn, so this thing started and it did make sense to me, but he was like, Shawn, you're right. He did give you the ability to do this. Yes, he did put people in your way, but you do have to do your part.
Yes.
So he would say, you got to do your part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that does make sense, Speedy.
Co-labor with God.
Yes. Because if we don't do our part, nothing happens. So like, I'm like, okay, I agree with you on that, And so like this thing got to be said, it was doing your part. And he would always say this.
Right.
So when I got back from Afghanistan, Speed came and visited me at my house. And this was way later.
Mm-hmm.
And do your part thing came up, and I ended up telling my brother the story of do your part, what I just told you.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 year from when I got home is we met in Vegas in 2006 at Senior Nationals, and my brother's there, and he's yelling, do your part. In training, he would always yell, do your part. So a lot of the guys on my team would yell, do your part, but they didn't really know what it was about.
Yeah.
So in the meet, everybody's like yelling, do your part. And even
Except
people
me.
like, you definitely were not doing that.
No.
But so that thing, doing your part,
I think I was yelling like, fall apart.
Yeah, fall apart. Oh my gosh. But so people were yelling this in the crowd and whatever, and they don't even know the story.
Right.
Well, you know how seniors went, and it went really well.
Yeah, it was,
and
dude,
for
2
me,
flights. Yeah.
It was crazy. Like we had
2
like 20
flights
people in our
per weight class.
Yeah.
98s, 2 flights, 220s, 2 flights, 42s, 2 flights, 75s, 2 flights. It was just like the who's who. That was like the peak of equipped powerlifting, and then followed by the subsequent crash of it. And we'll get into that later about how powerlifting is different. But you made a name for yourself, and it's funny because I would read PL USA like it was like, dude, I would get it, I'd be looking for it. Like only certain places would carry it, and that's all I had is like PL USA, right? So I'd find it. I started reading it in like 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. And so I'm like starting to get strong. I just hit my first 2,200 total that year in 2005, right? And I was chasing like right at 23. And so I'm opening up and I'm looking at every 220. I look at the rankings. I'm moving up. I'm like, yep. And then I see 683 deadlift and 683 bench at 220. And like almost like a 900, around a 900 squat you did. I'm like, who the F is this dude? Like where, like I'm the next guy. Like, where's this dude coming from? And I read like the context of the meet, like Frankl's back from Afghanistan. I'm like, who's Frankl? Who is this dude that's benching 700 pounds already? Because at the time, no one at 700 was benching, or no one at 220 was benching 700, really. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 that were like near there, but in 05 and 06, there wasn't really anybody. And so come to find out it was your opener or something silly, and like you missed 7 something twice. And so I already knew about you. I already admired just what I knew. You're a veteran that I already knew about Rick Hussey. I met him in 04, the first time at WPC Worlds Fresno, California. Yeah. And so I already knew Rick. I knew of Nick Hatch, of Becca, and everyone. And I'm like, who is this dude? Because I've already known they produced freaks. And then so we met at Senior Nationals in 06. And like you said, you had a better time than I did because I got second place. But the field was stacked, but it was like clearly you, then me, and then everyone else. Like I was in 23s, you were mid 23s, and then everyone else was like 21 something. So we like we're way out in front. And that was a year almost to the day that you got back, but you tried to come back from Afghanistan and go right to Detroit Senior Nationals, right?
Yeah.
So how did that go?
Well, I mean, it was the same weekend. So right when we were getting it back into the States and we were getting sent back home, I just asked them if they could just send me to Detroit and I wanted to do that meet
You
because
probably would have won.
I doubt that, but I wanted to be there
Right.
because I'd missed a lot of meets that all my teammates were doing, and I really missed powerlifting,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to be there, man. My passion for powerlifting was still just the same, and I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But they said, no, we're not going to send you there. You have a coming home
Rules.
ceremony you have to be at. So, I ended up just going home and doing that. And, by the next day, though, I was training at Big Iron, and I was there by noon the next afternoon. So, but yeah, so another thing on what I was saying with the do your part thing. So the cover of the magazine comes out of Senior Nationals, and that was my first cover. But opening it up in the inside, and it said Shawn Frankl doing his part.
Really?
In the inside. So to me, that meant something to me because
That's
I
awesome.
I knew where it really came from, and that other people got something out of that.
How did it make its way in there?
I have no clue. But I was shocked because I don't know how they.
Well, it was so
do
obscure.
that.
Like, who is covering these stories? You know what I mean? Because it was kind of a mystery. Like, sometimes it'd be a lot of context about a meet. Some meets wouldn't make it into the magazine. Others would have like a write up. So I guess it's a meet director, like, getting stuff being sent to the people that organize it or whatever. But that's awesome. That was like the way it opened. Yeah, you did your part and you busted a 23:53 at like 2:07, right? And you missed a couple benches and missed a deadlift, but you damn near hit 2400 right back out of the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that was huge. And at the time, you and I were chasing Travis Mash, who had 24:14 at 220 and just hit that, but he was broken. Like around that time that he peaked in 04 and 05, his shoulders was basically broken, right? And so we knew he was on the way out. He had to put himself back together just to get one more win at the Arnold. So you were hungry. I was hungry. Don Del Blue was hungry. We had all these people that were like right there within missing a lift or two. And that the difference between 2400 plus or not.
Yeah.
And Ed Cohn had that record forever, right? At 220.
Yeah.
And Mash was the one that broke it in 04, 05. And dude, I just want to give a little bit of credit to that, how good Travis Mash was before the time where Multi-ply, like it was taking off during the time of Travis Mash, but he like set the standard to another level for middleweights because it's like this dude, he could squat, he could bench, and then he could deadlift. And he could do it all and hit, broke Ed Cohn's record. And I get like different circumstances, blah, 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 but a monster total for a dude that was, people don't understand. Like back then when the equipment was minimal and all this stuff, like a 220 or total over 2400, it's godlike.
Yeah.
I don't mean Yahweh guy, but it's like not mortal type. And the only person that ever breached that was Ed Cohn, the Ed Cohn himself. And so for Travis to even approach it was insane to me. But there we were going into Worlds 2006. And I remember I went on the Big Iron website. You and I connected, and like we passed each other in Vegas after the meet, and everything was like cool. And then like you and I were cool. Like we shook hands and everything. Tyson wasn't sure about me, right? Like Tyson's like,
Tyson wasn't sure about anybody.
Well, I was just like, I'm not sure about that dude because he looks like he might want to like have his way with me or something like that. But like my buddy that was with me is like, dude, what's up with that dude pacing around? And I'm like, he looks like he's like, he's checking me out because he knows that I'm the only one that out squatted Shawn. Yeah. So it's like, he wants to see what I'm benching. And then when he sees that I'm only opening up at 6, he walked away and he's like, okay, well, like we're in good shape here. But you and I like became friends. Never were we like adversaries. And that it's such a weird thing because I've had so many relationships with people over the years that I competed against that were in my weight class that were as good or maybe not as good or better or whatever it may be. And it would always turn adversarial for whatever reason. Like they couldn't just respect me or I couldn't just respect them. And I'm not saying that it was like their fault or it's my fault, but it just always turned into, we can't be friends. Like we have to pit each other against, and like, I have to hate you. You have to hate me. And then that's what I felt like I had to do that with most people because I wanted to win so bad.
Yeah.
But with you, like I almost like loved you from the start. And I'm like, dude, I like this dude. I admire him. I admire that he's bolder for Christ than I could be at the time. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. I just didn't feel it. And I wasn't going to be fake. So what I wasn't going to do was mimic you and be like, dude, I was praying, but I wasn't there yet to be able to just go and like, God the glory. Like I wasn't there yet, but you helped me get there. Right.
Yeah.
But, there was never like, dude, I hate this dude. I hate this little joker. Like, I wish he would freaking blow his knees apart so I can be the man.
Yeah.
There was never that. And before the WPC Worlds in 2006, you invited me up, helped me with my bench. I put like 50 pounds on my bench between seniors and Worlds, which was the gap exactly between our totals.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't understand like that one little change, because I couldn't bench, not just propelled me then, but went on to propel me to an 800-pound bench within a year and a half of then in the same shirt. So it wasn't like I put on this magic shirt. I learned how to bench with my back and set up and flare and then cut in and then drive back. But we were preparing, and everyone knew that we were the favorites for the WPO, WPC semifinals. Qualifying for the Arnold, the top 5 went to the Arnold. That's where everyone wanted to go. That's why you went to Finland when you bombed out in Chicago in 2005, right? Was that 2005?
No, that would have been after seniors.
After seniors.
So that would have been like maybe, what was that, 2008 maybe?
Yeah. So anyway, so like everyone wanted to qualify for the Arnold.
Yeah.
But the last year the Arnold happened was 07 there. So whatever that comes out to be, and Blue ended up winning that one. You guys battled for the bench press record and all that stuff. But the goal for me was to qualify for the WPO and get on that Arnold stage. And we're going to show some pictures of us on stage at the, you know, that was like the top of powerlifting beyond seniors. That was like the true pro level of powerlifting. And then it just like nosedove because Kieran wasn't paying people, and there was all this drama about people. Do you remember the Russian dude that you just got thrown out of the meet in the middle of the meet?
No.
So there was a Russian dude that he didn't really squat. He squatted okay. He benched pretty good.
You remember who it was?
No, but he was just a Russian dude. That there was so much weird stuff going on during that day because I'd bombed on the squat, and so I'm like right there in your corner. Like, what do we need to do? Like, what do we need to do? And I had bombed, and they threw this dude out of the meet after he benched. Like something happened with his entry form or his visa or something. But someone out there watching this conversation is going to remember, and they just threw the dude out of the meet. On my life, they threw him out of the meet, and he was gone. And people are like, dude, like, is there some kind of setup going on where this person's supposed to not win the meet or another person is supposed to win the meet? And I saw this because I was out of the meet, and I saw him get escorted out of there. On my life, he got kicked out of the meet after squatting and benching. They just like threw him out of there. He was a Russian dude I never heard of. He wasn't going to beat you or Croc or Blue, but they just tossed him out of the meet. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
What happened?
I don't know, but like I do remember it vividly. And he wasn't at WPC Worlds. But going back to like us not being adversaries, you know, I went up to Big Iron, and Rick accepted me like I was like an extended family member of Big Iron, even though we're battling. And you guys aren't dumb. You guys knew that I was a threat. And by helping me bench, which was my weakness, I'm not built to bench. I got arms that are long.
Yeah.
And like I was kind of like taller for a 220, or so I had cut a lot of weight to fill out. And then eventually my home was like 300 pounds, where I ended up hitting the biggest squat of all time. But at the time, I wanted to maximize the weight classes and such. So I came up. You even picked me up. You invited me up. I remember senior nationals, like us hitting it off. We became friends, but I emailed Becca, and she was the admin on Big Iron website. And I was like, hey, can you please put me in touch with Shawn? Like, we hit it off at seniors, but I never got his number. And so one day you're like, hey dude, what's up? And I'm like, hey man, dude, I just wanted to, like, I don't know, we're gonna be competing against each other. Like, let's keep in touch if you're cool with it. Like, it wasn't anything weird. We just hit it off. Right. Yeah. Just like I haven't seen you in 7 years. And then the other day we just like picked up and we talked till 2 a.m. and there was never like any like, Like, what's been up with you?
Yeah.
Like, but
It's just like
no, we're just like, hey, dude, what's up with this and what's up with that? Like,
yeah.
we're almost like two brothers almost. You know what I mean? Like, I never really thought about that, but we can go like me and my brother, we can go like years without talking, and then we can pick up and just have like this back and forth talking shit back and forth, and like
Yeah.
no one will get it, but it'll be funny, and we can just be like make up stuff, and he can reply to it, and then I can reply to it, and we just have this volley back and forth, and it's been like that way pretty much since I came up to Nebraska. I'm like, I'm coming up. Like, you're like, I'll help you. You guys even stuffed me into one of your freaking bench shirts.
Oh yeah.
Now I know I'm not a pussy. Like, because what it took for me to get, it's not like you weren't huge, but I was 245 and you were like 209.
Yeah.
You're shorter, but it wasn't, we were built different. So it was like hard for me. But dude, I was bleeding all over with plastic bags, and we stuffed me into your shirt because I'm like, whatever it takes. I came all the way up here. You guys,
Yep.
I don't know anything about benching. And so you guys put me in the shirt, and I about killed myself because it about broke my arms off. And Rick was like, get it off. I'm like, we tried, but like, it's too close. So I went up there. We're like 2 months out from the meet or something. And you guys helped dial in my bench press. We talked about squatting a little bit. And I'm just like, I really don't know like how I squat well, but I just think about this. I just think about being tight and opening up and driving my heels. And so you're like,
And then
dude,
the straps too. You're like,
yeah.
you got to learn to use your straps better and tighten your.
Oh yeah, you guys were always like
Like,
not
we didn't
tight in
really-
your straps. I'm like,
Yeah.
get used to that pressure, because that's what's going to pop you out of the hole and make the difference between a suit bottom and brief and a squat suit, which like
Yes.
keeping you upright. So
Yeah.
like, I didn't really know too much. I didn't know what you guys knew on the bench press for the squat, but you shared intel. I shared intel. We show up at Worlds and we end up freaking tying to the freaking decimal, 2376.4. And like, what a like, God, I 100% believe that God has a sense of humor. Dude, he invented everything, except for depravity, obviously, but he is the founder of humor and greatness and all these different things, right? So of course he has a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
These gifted comedians are gifted by God to be funny. Whether they use it for his good or not is up to them, right? Just like a fighter can use it for good and win money and be a prize fighter, or they can go around and beat their wife up and beat up the neighbors or whatever, right? So it's a gift from God, to be, to be funny. And so it's like it's up to us to like use it correctly, right?
Yep.
But we tied, and I couldn't help but just like laugh because your squat went up, my bench went up, and it equalized us. And then you weighed in lighter, you got the medal, and it like, I joke about like still being like, dude, I'm never gonna live this down. But I got what I got because I was trying to I wanted the world record total, and I saw if I hit the 738 on a second, instead of just being smart and pulling like a 722 and like making you need to pull like whatever it was, 20 pounds more than you ended up pulling. Like, I took the jump to like go over 2,400 and leave it room on the third to go for just over 2,414. So my eyes were too big for my stomach. Right. And I didn't have a coach. Like, Adam was lifting, this person's lifting, like Sam was there helping me. Speaking of which, and we'll talk.
Your emotions are in it. Like when you're coaching yourself, like how you were, it is a little different because you're emotional and you're making your own calls, and you make a little bit different decisions. But that meet also, I think, is the one that you took that squat record. Chuck's squat record was that
no one could touch it for 5 years. Did no one even like really?
So at 220,
Chuck kept putting it on his back, and then like he would just like. You know how like then finally he went up and then just busted at 1160 or something at 275. And Chuck is one of the reasons why we did it. Man. It's one of the reasons why I did it. I saw him and like and Chuck's a cool dude. Like, he's just a bro. You know what I mean? Like, he isn't like this guy that's gonna rip your head off. Like,
he loves the sport.
I'm not saying he couldn't rip your head off, but when he's training, he's intense.
Yeah, which should be. I mean, it should be expected. And that's how I always read him. Just, you should be intense when you're working out and when you're wanting to attack big numbers. and dial in and be focused. That's everybody has their way of doing that,
Yeah.
and some people can take it as something different. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Inside, you should be. I don't know. I control it a controlled rage. Maybe it wasn't on the outside,
Yeah.
and Chuck's looked more even on the outside.
Yeah.
But
yours was more like an inside. You could see it whipping up as you're getting under the bar, but you weren't just like, you knew to stay out of your way, but Chuck was just like so intense.
And it worked for him.
It worked.
He could put things in where he wanted them and still do it. Like me, if I was crazy on the outside, I'd probably screw it all up.
Yeah.
But it was internal for me, and it was being precise on what I was doing, and I had to keep it together.
And one thing you told me that stayed with me, and I used to like make fun of you about it, and then Clint made fun of me about it, and like these different things. But like we make fun of a lot of things in jest that are like dead truth, right? Because it's kind of funny, but you have to have an ego to lift big weight. And so the same ego is the impediment for us to back off. And that's what actually leads to us destroying ourselves, because we're like, nah, dude, we got to do better. We got to do more. Like, that's not, you were telling me about training to failure. You would go to like, failure for Shawn Frankl is different than, Josh over here or Joe over there. Like for you, it's like absolute mental, physical, spiritual, everything, where you just can't do another rep. Everyone else is like, oh, I'm done. If their life depended on it, they could do another 10 reps. You started training like your life depending on it for like those 10 reps. And then like you had to stop doing that because it was too much. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I just kept getting injured, and and that was really when I got it more or less into the bodybuilding part, because like, you train till failure more. And what I thought failure was literally failure. So like my brain is ready to let's go to failure, and my body, which is normally the opposite, my body wasn't, because it had been a lot of stress on it, from powerlifting, but I'm supposed to take it to failure. So failure is what it is. And that means until my muscles can't do it anymore, literally. And things kept blowing off, and I kept getting all these injuries. And I'm like, over enough time, I'm like, I'm spending more time rehabbing myself because I'm supposed to train till failure, then maybe I should just not train till failure. But now I feel like I'm shortcutting it. So that kind of sucked too. But I mean, what was I looking for? Because it wasn't going well for me. So I had to learn to back off and not go to complete failure. Maybe you could have done 5 more. You should probably stop.
But do you could and need to? Like, do you need to? No. Could you have? Yeah. But it's like, you got to ride that line of stimulate, not annihilate. Chuck is someone that everyone had to admire if you're a multi-ply squatter, especially if you lifted in his weight classes, right? And Chuck was right there. I looked down to the left, and Chuck was right there when I was taking my second at 1,000, because no one had squatted 1,000 except for Chuck.
At 220.
Yeah, and he kept trying to do it, and he was cutting too much weight, and he just kept bombing out at 220. So eventually he went up. That's kind of what happened to me at 220, and kind of like a little bit of 42. Like eventually, we'll talk about the science and like growing and all that stuff, but each time you cut and then you slam thousands of calories, and your body's so deprived, and you get bigger. Well, so each time you saw me at a meet, I was bigger.
Well, you weren't just bigger, but you were also, when you go through a whole nother training cycle lifting heavy, you're denser. And when you become dense, it's a different kind of weight. And you have to actually be lighter than the last cut by, I would try and be like a pound or 2 lighter, because you're a little denser and it came off a little harder. And you just learn that over time. Like, I can't be the same body weight I was, because it's not the same body. It's denser, it's going to come off harder.
Yeah, and so I remember Chuck being down there. I didn't see him until I was done for the third one, was the 1,030. I didn't see him down there for that one, but I knew he was down there. But in the video, I saw him just get up and just kind of walk out. And I was like, I didn't even know he was down there for that one. But on the video, in hindsight, I saw him. But dude, when I broke that, you'd already broken like an all-time world record on the bench or two, hadn't you, by that point?
Bench, yeah.
See, I'd never even like dreamed. Like in my like, going back just a couple years before, my email address was bgcarroll2100@bellsouth.net. At that point, I just wanted a total 2,100, because I was told on 1,900 or whatever, 1,800. And I was like, dude, I just want to get to a 2,100 total, and that'll be like because no one's really doing that. There's like a couple, but they're all in the WPO, right? Because I wasn't even thinking about the WPO. I just wanted to like do 2100, and I knew I could do like 8, you know, I could do 9, I could do 6, and I could do 7 or whatever it ends up being, or 850, 6, and 7 or something. But never did I say, or think like, dude, that guy right there in a couple of years, I'm gonna break his squat record, like at the biggest meet there was. When Andy Bolton pulled 1,000, all this stuff happened. So for me, I had to go outside and just like kind of pinch myself because it was a like very bad weight cut and all this stuff. And I showed up in the weight in the warm-ups because I had like wandered off to McDonald's and was just like in my own little world. Like I was just getting so focused that things sped up in the flight before us. And I walked back there and I'm like, you were at 4 plates and I was in my sweats. And I just stayed calm. I just took a deep breath and said, okay, I can either panic or I can just say, you know what, it's not ideal, but I'm going to get my shit together. So I calmly went and grabbed a bar, I did a little bit of warming up. I put some hundreds on there on a separate rack where no one was, picked it up, did a couple of reps, put my briefs on, jumped in, had them pull a couple plates off the bar where Adam was, and they just like graciously pulled the plates off. And so I took the 2 plates and then put my briefs on, took 4, put my suit on, straps down, took 6, and then put my suit on, straps up, took 8, and then went out to the platform within 30 minutes and took 931. And like, I didn't know if it was because I wasn't warmed up or like it was feeling like a special day, but every weight was like nothing on my back. So I'm like, it's either because something's about to go very wrong because I'm not warmed up or like it's a good day. So I hit 931 and smashed it. Adam's like, you need to go like 1,000, like 1,000 right now. And so took it, hit it pretty good. And they're like, 1,030 is where you need to go. And so I went and took it and I got it. And it was like, I never like thought that I'd be able to squat like 1,030 and break Vogelpool's record at a big meet and like do it in front of everyone. So that was cool for me to be able to do that. My first taste of like an all-time world record. But that meet along with the 2006 seniors, those are 2 of the most competitive, the deepest, and the greatest meets of all time, in my opinion. And that was like the peak of like equipped and like camaraderie and group focused training teams. After that, it just started like after 2010, it was like pretty much it was over by then. Things just weren't the same.
Yeah.
But so much awesome stuff happened to that meet in Lake George, New York. Like you hit the bench world record at like 733 or something like that. And like we said, we ended up tying. But again, it was you and me tied. I get second place because I weighed, more than an elephant compared to you. And the funniest part would have been if somehow like I like overshot my cut and I weighed like, let's say you weighed heavy as heck, like just to mess with me, and then like you weighed 215. Let's say I met you at 215, then that would call for a reweigh. Well, it'd have been 250. You know what I mean? You'd have been like 213. You know what I mean? And so obviously, like when you tied me, I was like, oh, I know you weighed in light, but it's like, dude, congrats. I screwed it up, and I got too hungry. But I also, I don't blame anyone. I don't I just wish I'd have been smarter about it. But that's also where Rick would have jumped in and been like, sit your ass down. I'm calling the numbers. I may have been like a little bit irritated that instead of 738, it was 722. But then I may have secured the win. And then maybe, who knows, the third attempt, I have even more confidence. And then I go out there. But once my hand tore on my second and I'd taken so many drugs and everything and hydrated so much that I was like bleeding out. Like I wasn't going to die, but I was bleeding so much. There's no way. There's no way I'm like holding on to this bar. And I knew it going out there, but I tried. I gave it hell. And, so I ended up losing and I wasn't like, don't talk to me, Shawn. Like, no, we hung out the whole weekend.
No, we went to eat right after.
Yeah, we went out to eat and it was just like funny. Like, I fucked that up and it's my fault. And you're like, dude, you had me. And I'm like, I know, but whatever. And there was no like, I'm going to get that dude. Like, if it's the last thing that I do. And there's 2 people that I never beat. I never beat you and I never beat Greg Panora. Boo hoo. You know what I mean? Like, what What am I going to do? Cry about that? I should have executed because I had a time where I had Greg Panor beat at the Pro-Am and I popped my bicep, right?
Yeah.
Then I had a time where I could have beat you and I just didn't execute.
Yeah.
But I learned from those instances going forward. After Greg was out of the sport, after you out of the sport, I had the wisdom to know, dude, don't go for deadlift numbers, go for total numbers via the deadlift. I learned that the hard way, and then I could start passing on that knowledge to all the lifters that came after me. It does not matter what you deadlift.
Yeah.
It matters what you need for the total. So if it comes down to a PR deadlift or the total or what you need to win, who cares if it's a deadlift PR or not? You pull the weight for the win.
Yeah.
And I learned that the freaking hard way from that. And it's a hard won lesson that's good. It was good for me.
I mean, you learned a lot being your own coach.
It was hard.
And
it was hard because I'd look at ended up looking at Hoff and had Louis, even though Hoff was, he had help from Rick and you. And then he did have Lou to a certain extent, but then Hoff trained at night, pretty much from 08 till now, right?
Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
And I don't think Hoff gets enough credit for how good he is at tinkering with things and figuring out his bench, but he also had help because you actually had a conversation with him because he squatted 1,000 pounds at 19 years old, right? And everyone was like,
first teenager to squat 1,000.
What the heck? And this dude's benching in the sevens, pulling the sevens, and he's kind of, if you remember, he's kind of long and almost skinny fat. He's long legs, and he hadn't really filled out because he was 21 at that meet. And you started talking with him and dude, you got to get in your suit more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember he was hitting at Danny Diggs Pro-Am meet. When he had that was January-ish or something.
January, and then Louis had the Pro-Am in the summer.
But I just remember that meet when he was like, man, what's going on? I went backwards here, and he was kind of frustrated.
And he's so funny, the way he'll say stuff. Yeah. How did he say? He's like, why is my squat going backwards 100 miles an hour?
Yeah.
I came to squat 900. I squatted 1,000 when I was a child.
Yeah. And he was frustrated about it because, I mean, once you squat 1,000, everybody, you want to go forward.
No.
But you could see the frustration, and I just remember having a conversation with him about you have to be in your gear more.
Yeah.
It should be like your skin. That is the reason why you're not, you can't get in it every once in a while. It's got to become second nature. That's just, it's got to be the same every time.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you get your raw strength up and you put the suit on, if it feels different or if things don't fit the same, it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm you got to be in it every week. And I know he started, I think, around that time training at night. And I knew Louis, he said wasn't happy about that, but evidently he figured it out. And started squatting in his suit a lot. So good for him. I mean, for me too, and even us competing against each other all the time. I mean, helping you, I wanted to help anybody. I mean, Cartinian moved to Omaha. He was my competitor as well. I wanted to help my competition because too, you really can't say you're the best at anything if I felt if some of the guys that are the same level as you and you're lifting with them, if they're missing out on things that maybe somebody taught me, but they didn't have that chance to get taught that, maybe I should help them because I don't want to beat somebody and not really feel like I was better than them. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason. But I always like to see people be at their top potential too. Mm-hmm. And your squad, I mean, I knew that you're one of the best squatters I've seen even back then. Mm-hmm. And obviously you were knocking those records out too. And that was your lift. Mm-hmm. That was your confidence. And, but I wanted to see in everybody's lifts.
You could see me benching 800, but I was like, dude, I'm barely benching 600. No.
It's always those couple minor little detail things, you know, that make a huge difference at that level.
Yeah.
So a little thing's a big thing at that level, But you started making those big jumps in the bench too, which was adding to the total, and your deadlift started moving up too.
Yeah.
So things were really starting to come together, but they were coming together for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I wanted to help somebody, and I wanted to help you. I wanted to help too, and I wanted to help. I looked at these guys are my friends as well, so I want to see them be their best. But I also wanted to beat you at your best.
You did,
because I mean I can't say
you eased up.
No,
Like, oh, I'm gonna
yeah.
give him like you didn't feel sorry. Like you're just like, dude, be your best, and I want to be shit your best.
Yeah.
Make that effing lift, and then you're gonna make me make this lift.
Yes, it's gonna
You
make me better.
you came up to me like on the deadlift. You're like, make this lift so you make me make my third.
Yeah.
And I tried with everything, and I still couldn't do it. But like you were there, and when I got ready for the 1,030 squat, you were right there in my face, like, and you were happy. I saw in the video. Like even Rick was happy.
Yeah.
You were happy.
I mean, you're breaking a record that was a big record. I mean, that
Well, it stood for 5
was
years.
awesome.
It stood for 5 years, and everyone thought that only Chuck was going to be able to break that. And I didn't expect myself to break it.
And you know, I mean, even now, records are meant to be broken. Rick always said that. Records are literally meant to be broken, and that's what makes the sport fun as well.
Right.
To see it keep going forward, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, Chuck had that record, and back then I remember going, wow, man, he's 220, squatting 1,000 plus pounds. I mean, like, that was crazy. And then to see you come up and do it, I thought it's fun to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, if you're into powerlifting, how can't you not like that?
Right.
If you're secure in yourself, you know. But a lot of those lifts, I love watching that and being a part of it. I was blessed to be there. I mean, even when I was in Afghanistan, and you talked earlier about Travis hitting that 24-14 or whatever it was. Yeah. I remember somebody sent me the magazine that he was on the cover and hit that. I didn't even know him. And I was like, man, good for this guy, man. That is a big total. And coming off of Ed, which I thank the world of Ed too.
Yeah.
But I just like watching it because I just love powerlifting.
Right.
So, and I'm secure with me, so I don't care. I mean, I don't only want to be known for powerlifting my whole life.
Right.
It was something that was fun. It was, I got to meet cool people.
Yeah.
I had some of the best memories, and still today going to meets, still get to see these guys and come out here and visit you and do this. I mean, it's just been blessed to be able to even do it, and it carried on way past powerlifting.
Hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click the notifications because we drop videos twice a week. We also have a live stream every Friday where I answer your questions. Click below to see the latest video that we uploaded. Also, for our products, our CBD, our books that correspond with these videos, it's down in the description. For more information about all things Brian Carroll and Power Rack Strength, go to powerrackstrength.com. You could book a consult both virtually and in person with me. Enjoy your week, and thank you so much.